what else do we want to have a look at quickly? Let's have a look at TRVL. Yeah, TRVL is looking like it's been sold. So I had a... So, I mean, I don't know really what to say about TRVL, except that we were looking at a bearish candle on the weekly chart. We've been looking at this together, all of us. Anyone who's come onto my streams will know that I've been looking at these candles on the weekly time frame, and everyone will know that I've been contemplating a bearish scenario. And there was a conversation about my incorrect terminology for this candle. I said, mate, I said it was a hammer, but actually yesterday I corrected myself, and it's not hammer, it's a dragonfly doji. Although here it doesn't even look like a dragonfly doji, here it just looks like a doji. So on different exchanges you have slightly different looking candles. So a dragonfly doji, the wick is longer underneath than higher up, and it's in the heights. Anyway, I was looking at this and going, this is bearish, and we have started to see a little bit of a sell-off. I mean, what we're experiencing now in this part of the price action for TRVL is a little bit of exhaustion. Yeah, I think people have to understand that. Like, I'm not bearish at all with TRVL at all. Like, there's no ounce of bearishness in me. When I say this is bearish, it doesn't mean I'm bearish. Yeah, it just means that it's showing signs of exhaustion, basically, where the price is finding it difficult to go up and the price could correct, and then you're looking for a correction. That's all it really means. I see it as a correction. I don't see it as a crash or some kind of suddenly the price is going to zero. I don't see that at all, right? And I've been calling it, and I told everyone this is what it looks like, and lo and behold, you're getting the same thing on the 3-day chart. See that candle here? Again, it's the same idea. It's a dragon. To me, it looks like it's a hammer with a wick on top. So that's how in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, hammer inverse hammer, because that's the easiest way to perceive these reversal candles. Now, if it has a wick on top or not, it's called the dragonfly doji, or what's the other one? It's an evening star doji or something like that. But I mean, like this one here, it's not a hammer. It's not an inverse hammer. It's like probably an evening star doji or something like that. I don't know. I'd have to go and have a look. Because of the wick. The idea is that exactly the same. So that's why I just simplify it in my mind. And so we are seeing a little bit of a reversal here. Yesterday's daily candle was extremely bearish. There is no doubt about that. We had a close underneath this wick, this wick. The price easily traded through this daily level, easily. And so naturally, I mean, I drew out this this higher time frame triangle. Actually, it's a mid time frame triangle, and in my mind I was thinking, if we wanted to go up, we really had to find support somewhere at the low of this triangle to go up. But I was still feeling bearish, simply because of the higher time frame candle, the weekly candle, which showed some kind of bearish behavior in the candle print, right? And and the thing about like this short that I had imagined is that you have a really easy invalidation. You have a very simple invalidation. Yeah. The validation isn't much from anywhere from this short. You're only looking at about 12%. 12% in terms of TRVL is very small in terms of TRVL. So I don't think people looked at my video and started shorting. I think people were already feeling that way because we've been ranging in this range for a while. The point of control is now above us, and we are into resistance. We're into resistance. We're into resistance, and you can't be bullish when resistance is holding. You can't be. You have to be. You can be bullish when you flip it into support, and we have been unable to do that. And this push up last week, this nice big bullish expansion candle was the promise of great news last week. And I think it's hard because right now I think there's a lot of anticipation, but people still want to accumulate at low prices. And no one really wants to push the price up when the price isn't ready to go up. And what I'm seeing with the price right now, it's not ready to go up. It's not ready to go up. Yeah. And I think we had that chance. I feel like we had this chance to go up in this range, and we haven't been able to do that. And I think the problem is lack of participants at the moment. And I think part of that problem, it still stems to people not really knowing about Dtravel, not really understanding about Dtravel. And so naturally, the growth that we're experiencing now, it's quite a lot. It's quite organic. It's more organic. It's more kind of people themselves doing their own research. But it's not necessarily anything extra. There's no extra input into the way people are hearing about Dtravel. And the other problem is that a lot of the hosts that are coming on board have no idea about crypto, period. And so that in itself is an education. Like Eric introduced me to someone who's got some properties in London, and he has no idea about crypto. He has no idea about TRVL. He doesn't even know about how to buy TRVL. And I think that's what I was saying. I think in the future we're going to come across this situation where we have a large amount of hosts, tens of thousands or more, and they have no idea about TRVL. They have no idea about crypto. They might not even care about crypto, to be honest with you. And so we have a really amazing future captive audience that we can tap into with a little bit of understanding and education down the line. And so I think there's a really great opportunity here, because the people that we convert to crypto, their first purchase is going to be TRVL, not Bitcoin. And it's going to be like losing your virginity, you never forget. It's like the first one, the first girlfriend, you never forget, or boyfriend, whatever. And so we have a really great opportunity to grow our network, but at the moment it's very organic. I don't think, just because I plan this trade, I don't necessarily think we're going to go all the way down to the bottom. Yeah, this is an idea of like, if we do fall, I think that would be the extent of the fall. But naturally speaking, I can't imagine that this is going to happen, because we still have levels to contemplate. Yeah, we have this daily level, and I think there's going to be quite a large amount of liquidity at that daily level. Yeah, I don't see why there wouldn't be. We have it's right at the value area low of this range, and you have a liquidity level into a daily order block. I don't necessarily think that we're just going to walk through that level. Yeah, I don't think that doesn't really make sense to me. It would really require ultra bearishness for us to just do this. Yeah. So in my mind, even though I've drawn it out, I am thinking to myself, I don't know how we're going to like right now the price is slowing down. And that's the other thing. It's going to require people to market sell for the price to go down. I don't know. Just like I'm seeing a lack of buyers, I'm also seeing a lack of sellers. Yeah. I'm seeing a lack of sellers. So I don't necessarily think the price is just going to kind of crash at the moment. I don't see that. But right now we are kind of making, I don't want to see green actually. Like if people are buying, I'd rather you just buy lower down. And I think people don't really understand, like, why is, like, this is terrible. I don't like this. Why are people market buying here? Stop market buying. Put limit orders and let your orders fill. Stop market buying, because by market buying you're creating bearish candles, bearish order blocks. And I don't think people, like, I wish everyone would be watching my videos, because they don't quite understand how it works. But basically, you, on the way down, you don't want to be creating green candles. You just want it to be all red, because that means that when you go back up, it'll be much easier to go back up if there's no green candles. So actually, on the 4-hour time frame, this whole kind of, let me just delete that now. This whole move down can easily be reversed because there's no green candles. Yeah. And we just don't want to see green candles on the way down, because as the price comes back up, they will start, that's where the resistance is. And then you start seeing structure. I don't want to see structure on the way down. I just want to see the price fall. Basically, that's what I want to see. But I mean, I'm not in control. And I think, you know, the problem is people are market buying. And that's not how to buy. You just set your limit orders and let the orders fill. Let people market sell. That's fine. But let's not market buy. We don't need to. But yeah, so we're seeing a little bit of bearishness here. It would be, I think, I'm not going to be, like, I mean, look, this triangle could break down, but you could end up forming something else. Like, there's no reason why we're going down. I don't think that's not how it works. The price always moves in waves, and the price never does what you think. So even though I had this kind of mapped out, and even though that looks like a breakout, it just all depends on the strength of the sellers. If you don't get any sellers, it will just kind of come here, find support, and probably head back out. Now, the question will be, what happens here? You know, do people start selling again to go back down? Or do you find strength to go up? You know, like, we just don't know. Can't predict that. And so naturally, when you are like taking a trade like this, you want to take profit at the first support level. You wouldn't just expect it to go all the way down. Even though the higher time frame candles the previous week was bearish, even though we are on time when it comes to mimicking ADA's descent at the same period of time during the bull market last time round. Even though we're on time with that, I'm not going to just blindly short. I'm not shorting anyway. Sell into support. That doesn't make any sense. It's better to let the price guide us, you know. And so naturally, the first kind of indication of real bearishness in my mind is going to be losing this value area, losing this low here, like a close underneath this low on the daily time frame. It's not going to look good. Yeah, that's going to look really bearish. Right now, I'm not necessarily feeling that way, because we're still in the range, we're still range bound, we still have a significant level below us, and that's within this value area. And I can see that there's a high volume node here just underneath us. I can draw the line straight. I won't need to because I can just use that there. There's a high volume node right there, just above the daily level. So the other thing that we can experience is that the price kind of comes down here, ranges a little bit, the point of control flips all the way back down to the bottom, and the price starts going back up again. Yeah. And so even though you have this triangle idea potentially breaking down, you just could just be a fake out. The price could just fake out. It could just be a little mini shakeout. The price could go back up. There's no reason to think that the price is just going to crash, because we are easily in support, still in support. Yeah, maybe not this exact second, but just below us, not far. We have only 4% below us. We have a liquidity level, high volume node into the value area low. Yeah, and now this range that we're in has been with us since the 12th of January. So we're almost a month in this range, almost a month. And if anyone was paying attention to the first day, to that day that we broke out and came back, it came down, the first thing I said to everyone was just trade the volume range. Just trade the volume range. Yeah. And that would have been very profitable for most people, because look what's happened. The price has just gone from the value area low to the point of control, to the value area low, to the point of control, probably back down to the value area low, probably back up to the point of, you know, like, it's just at the moment that's what's happening. That's the behavior. And, you know, yeah, sure, this triangle could be, you know, we could go down, clear the liquidity at these lows here, go back up, find resistance, and it could really go down. It is possible, but the thing that you have to remember is that no one is shorting. We're talking about market sales. So you have to think to yourself, who is market selling? You know, that's the only way for the price to go down, market sells. And then all people have to do is put limit orders, and you're literally exhausting the sellers, because I don't think that there's many market sellers in this market at these prices. And I would prefer it if people just put limit orders. But at the right places. So at the moment, it's not the right place to put limit orders. You can just scale in. That's fine. But like, at least it's not too bad, because you are coming into this whole red candle, that the whole thing is an order block potentially. Let me just get rid of these lines. Basically, for me, on the 4-hour time frame, it's this red candle here, this one. That's really where you want to put your limit orders, that one there. And I think at the moment the price is still falling. I think it'll be easy to see strength right now, because strength, you're basically getting back into this triangle. You're getting back above that wick low. Be quite easy to see strength return. So I don't think people need to FOMO in right now. If they have sold in these highs, well done. You know, that I said, you know, trade the range, it's not a problem. But you don't necessarily need to FOMO in right now if you feel like the price is going up because someone is market buying, because you just, at the very least, we need to get back above this wick, at the very least. and flip that into some kind of support. You kind of had it here, look, this wick here, kind of had it here. You kind of need to get back into it first, on a, like on a medium time frame, like on a 4-hour chart. If you see something like that, we see something like this now, this kind of behavior, these kind of candles forming here, then that would be a material change in behavior. And so that's what you're looking for. You're looking for some kind of this formation. And then once you start seeing that, look, this is a market buy, the price held on this candle, then the price came back up. There was like ample opportunity to see the change. And these are 4-hour candles. And then as soon as the price came above this wick, it just went up and up. And so naturally, that's only, from where we are now, that's only 2.5% higher from where we are now. So I think for 2.5%, people don't need to rush back in. Yeah, you don't need to buy right now, because if you start seeing this kind of behavior, you'll see it very clearly. And then if the price closes back, basically what I'm saying is, if the price closes back, obviously every exchange is slightly different, but if it closes back into this level, call it SR flip, then you can long, just like here. And so for 2.5%, you don't necessarily need to long now. You could just wait for lower. You can wait for this order block, this daily level, this value area low. There's no rush. Yeah, and that would be a much safer entry. And basically what you'd be doing is the sellers would be exhausted by then. You know, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to exhaust the sellers and then have enough liquidity lower down to absorb all of the selling for the price to find support to go back up, right? That's kind of what we want. And it's a game, isn't it? It's a little bit of a game between buying and selling. And even though we've shown some higher time frame bearish candles, it doesn't mean, there's no reason to think that this is going to zero, which is, you know, like, we could, like, this weekly candle could just be here, just stop here. We could just literally, for the next 4 days, we could just stop here. And then next week, actually, the price could go up. You know, there's no reason to think that the price is just going to fall to the floor. And I think the reason why there's no reason to think that is because the lower we go, the more interest they'll, you know, the more people will be buying. Like, that's just natural. And you need to take the price down. You need market sells. I can't see, I don't know who's market selling. We haven't even impulsed yet. So I think people are just long-term accumulating. It's looking bearish, sure, but to be really bearish, I mean, I'm not going to get bearish at all. But if someone really wants to get bearish, then we have, at the very least, what you want to see is a weekly close underneath this doji low, this previous week low there. You see a weekly close underneath there. That would be really bearish, and that would be underneath basically 3.5. I'll mark that off. 3.5, where is that? Basically close here. Basically, if you get a close on the weekly time frame underneath this level here, that would be a close on the weekly time frame underneath this crop of support here, then yeah, sure, you can get bearish then. And then we're probably heading down to the next level. And again, that's how it is. If you close underneath here, then you're only going down to the next level. Like this, we're going level to level. We're not just going down in a straight line. And at each level, we have to see how much interest there is, how much liquidity there is, how many limit orders there are, how many how many how many sellers there are. That's all it is really. It's about buying a supply and demand. And so even though, like, I mean, I don't think people sold because of my video yesterday. I mean, I think there was a little bit of there's always a little bit of uncertainty where Dtravel fails to communicate, you know, but they haven't really been failing to communicate. When I look at the Telegram, they're still interacting, they're still responding, they're still chatting. They're not like there's no silence, and you know, it's just people expressing their concerns. I don't think that's bearish. I think that's normal. You don't get bearish because people are having a discussion or we're debating the future about the best path for marketing or the best path for governance or something like that. You don't get bearish for those reasons. And I think the most important thing when it comes to FUD is just identify it and eliminate it. Don't entertain it. And so every time I sense a little bit of FUD, I call it out. This is FUD. We don't want any of it, you know. So I think this is going to be a really good opportunity to accumulate more. Personally, I'm actually really looking forward to the price going down to these lower levels, simply because I'm looking to accumulate a lot more. Simply, I've already said I have a large amount of capital ready. Yeah, and I would love. I'm waiting because I'm waiting for the ADA fractal to play out, just in case it plays out exactly the way it's happened in the past with ADA. Yeah, like I'm just kind of waiting for the next 2 weeks to play out before I really deploy it. But I'm just thinking to myself, how amazing would it be to, and this channel is not correct, by the way, even though I've got it there. I just wanted to see the extent of the range of this triangle. Yeah, so, and actually it's not correct because the range would be to there. It would be to there. So this would actually be to here probably. Yeah, and if the price did get down to there, you'd still be this, it would still be a higher low, because you have to make to take this low, you have to make a lower low. So based on this triangle that I have, if this price really did go down, then we would still be within range of making a higher low. Yeah, because actually this triangle is not all the way down to this point, it's down to here. So you're taking it from up here to here. That would be the extent of the range. Maybe from the breakout, or from there, from that point actually, from here to there. Yeah, it would probably be somewhere around here, which would be kind of I think it would be the extent. Yeah, I'll be looking for, I mean, that probably the point of control is going to be the really amazing place to accumulate more. So if I chuck these away into another group now, let's see. Do I have a, what's that one? Okay, that's fine. What's this one? Yeah, I think that would be an amazing place to buy TRVL in point of control. About 3 cents. It's really not much lower than our current price. It's about 16% lower. And actually it is very possible that we hold support here, and that price is only 5% at 5% lower. It's very possible that we hold lower at 5%. Very possible. David just messaged me, oh, an hour ago. He said he took a short on BTC and he took profit at the order block. Well done. Let me have a look at that. Oh yeah, it really dropped. A nice trade. Looking at the honestly looking at TRVL right now, again, just without any kind of information, just looking at the candles, I think it's very clear that we are in a range, and this is the range. Yeah, so don't allow triangles to manipulate your bias, thinking that we've broken out of a triangle and we're going down to here, because the reality is these horizontal ranges are, these horizontal levels are like are the ones that control the structure. These like trend lines and stuff, they're not really that powerful in comparison to these horizontal levels. And so right now, as long as we're holding this, then there's no reason for us to just not continue. You know, we can just continue doing that for a while, to be honest with you. I don't really see why we should go down. There's no reason for us to go down. You do have some kind of bearish previous weekly candle, but I think as long as this week holds above this level, basically as long as this week closes within the previous week doji, as long as we close within this red doji, then the next week could just be a green candle. You know, like we could range here for a few more weeks before the price actually moves and does something. So just because we're seeing some kind of bearish reversal potential, I'm not bearish as a result, because I haven't had the confirmation I need. Yeah. And the difference between this and the ADA price action is that there was a sell-off. Let me show you, actually. I just want to show you that there are some differences, even though I'm tracking the similarities and I have the similarities in mind. I just want to show you the differences. So we have so we don't get too bearish. I don't want people to get too bearish. What the hell? It's definitely not my intention. Like all of a sudden people are bearish. What's all that about? Let me just pull this. Yeah. So look, this is ADA. And this is the daily time frame. And this is kind of the same period of time when the price started to drop. And as you can see, there's some serious differences between our price action and the ADA price action in the high of this range. Yeah. First and foremost, with ADA, this was the consolidation patch. Then you had this move, and this was the expansion, which kind of was sold into. Our consolidation was much longer, much more profound in the way it formed. And then our expansion wasn't like this kind of exhaustive rally. And then not only that, on the back of that, we've been ranging, we've been kind of consolidating. That's kind of what ADA never really consolidated after it expanded. None of this is consolidation. This is continuation of the expansion, and it's leading into exhaustion, right? So it's very different, the behavior here in ADA to our behavior in the highs. Yeah. And so the problem with this kind of price action with ADA is that the minute you lose kind of this range, that's the range. Don't know if you can see it, but basically that's the range. It didn't really range in the range, just went up and down. And so when you compare it to our kind of range, it's very different. We're into the range, and now we're ranging in the range. There's no ranging in the ADA range. It's just up, down, and the minute you lose the range, you go up and then you'd crash. And so we haven't done that yet, but I think that would be potentially, look, if we're going to see some similarity, it's going to be this, and then this. So that's the similarity that we're looking for, to see if there's a similarity in behavior. But the fact of the matter is we haven't even lost the support level yet, you know, so we haven't actually, that hasn't happened yet. And I think it was a lot easier for ADA to lose support because it didn't really create the structure needed to hold support. There was some volume gaps in this expansion here. We have no volume gaps here. You know, we've gone from basically one range connected to the next range, like they're back to back. They're on, it's like a brick. It's like we're creating a brick on top of another brick. ADA kind of didn't have that. So the minute it lost the top range, it was kind of like it lost balance and it fell. So there's slight differences, nuances at best, but still there are differences. And I don't want people to go and suddenly go, oh, we're copying ADA, we're following ADA, this is it, this is doom. Yeah. And the reality is that I think if we are copying ADA, if we are following the path of ADA, and everything that I'm saying is just subjective. Who knows? No one can predict the future. I always say that, and I continue saying that. Look, maybe we're trying to see what, if we maybe we're at this candle. I don't know. Maybe that's our candle. We'll see. But we're still in the range. So, and the other thing is that if you look at ADA, as the price came down, all of the liquidity levels were cleared. There was no like untapped. This was one, and naturally the price held there for 4 days, and basically there was one there, but the rest, there was no like untapped liquidity levels. Right now we have an untapped liquidity level just underneath us. It's the daily level, and that is corresponding to the value area low of this range. That's a strong level just underneath us. So I'm not going to get bearish if we're still holding strong support levels, you know. So I wouldn't see this as the end of the world. I would see this as another buying opportunity. And while ADA did go down and it did drop, it's very possible that we just range. We just range until we decide where we're going, and probably up by then. Probably up because we're holding support, and it's just an accumulation range for higher prices. And the reason why you're accumulating for higher is because you're holding support. Yeah, that's kind of the way I see it at the moment. So set your limit orders at the good places and just keep on accumulating. And obviously if we do suddenly see some kind of crazy dip, the first sign of that potentially happening will be the loss of the point of control. You see, you had a daily close on ADA underneath the point of control, and we're nowhere near there. We're far away from there at the moment. And so maybe, I mean, let's just say for the sake of argument, we are on this candle. Then we'd still expect another, like a red candle to go down, kind of do this, and then that before it does, you know. Excuse me. That's kind of what you would expect to see if it was copying the ADA fractal. So we're literally nowhere near. And I'm not expecting us to get bearish until, while we haven't lost support. Like I can't get bearish while we haven't lost support. We haven't lost support. We're still range, as far as I'm concerned, we're range bound. And, you know, I can see decreasing volume. You know, I'm not seeing crazy sell volume. And that's the other thing. Like, all of the volume is green volume, not red volume. And that's also something kind of like keeping an eye on the volume. So let's not get too bearish about this price action, and let's not market buy either. Limit buy, all right? If anyone's watching. TRVL. Well, TRVL is a little bit bearish right now. We're forming a bearish consolidation at these levels right now. On the BTC chart, we are into the point of control soon. So I think the point of control is always a good place to buy. So I think TRVL is going to come into a really good place to buy soon. Really soon, it's going to come into a good place. Not very far. We're almost there. It'd be a good place to buy TRVL. And the other thing about TRVL is that there is a major news item this week being released. I haven't got a clue what it is. I have no idea what it is. So it is possible that we just go down, get the liquidity and pump. It's very possible. And no one can ever predict how strong these pumps are going to be. David gave me a chart, actually. Let me see if I can find it on TRVL. I wasn't sure about it. Look. I'll do it on KuCoin. David shared this to me. What time frame is he using? He's using the weekly time frame. This is bullish, but it's going to be really painful because it means we're going. It's really bullish, but it's also really painful because it means we're just going to be in the lows all the way up to June. But let me draw it anyway. I mean, he's got it higher, but I'm just, who knows? No one can really predict the future. Let's say to there. I don't know. That's a bat, huh? Is that a bat? Which bat? Higher would be better. I don't know. So probably that, huh? So that. This is 1.6%. Did that go lower? Maybe this is going to be in March sometime, actually. Don't know. I mean, this would make sense. Golden pocket, golden pocket. This would definitely make sense. And we are actually holding the golden pocket right now from this extension from the X to the A. We are above the golden pocket. That is really bullish. Just bear that in mind, you know, anyone who's looking at TRVL. We are holding a bullish place right now. Just because we had a little bit of a sell-off doesn't mean anything, because at the moment on the higher time frame, this is bullish. See, it goes up there. to the golden pocket, back down to the golden pocket. Slightly higher. Slightly lower, but maybe down into the point of control to go up. Or deeper, maybe even deeper. That would get people really bearish, huh? To go up, to go down, you know. Imagine if we just went up now and then just sold off. Yeah. Anyway, we got the way to trade this for people who don't know about harmonics is you wouldn't trade the B. Yeah, there's no B trade here. The trade is either the C or the D, right? You wait for the B to form, and then if you go up to the C and you see we're back up, we're forming the C, then that's where you could short, or in this case sell. And you have an easy invalidation because the invalidation is above the A. You're not expecting it to go up. And really the trade is the D. The D is the trade, because once you've completed a harmonic, you can long because it's a bullish bat. Yeah. If we were to form this and it comes down to the D, then you can long. That would be the trade. So the C is possible, but really it's the D that you want to take. Right. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. There's a few people watching. That's cool. Always enjoy catching up with everyone. I can take a screenshot and put it on my thumbnail.